Been a while since I had this one out. I don't think I've done a video on this actually since I got it into the collection. Probably a year and a half ago, something like that. This is a CKF Snecx Terra. Snecx Tan is the designer on this. And this was one of the very first toolless disassembly kind of puzzle box style knives. The CRKT Homefront actually came out a couple of years before this with the 90-degree lever to undo the pivot and then a thumb wheel to unscrew the backspacer. But this one, it takes that concept just a whole lot further. And the only screw is actually the pivot screw. The custom versions of this actually had a kind of a weird tension setup without a screw on the pivot. Really cool. But the production CKF versions went with a somewhat traditional pivot with an actual screw thread. But you still don't need a tool to take this thing apart. Everything that you need to take it apart is built right into the knife. Really, really cool. So, may as well get to it. We don't need tools, so close that up. The first thing that you do is get the pocket clip off, because the pocket clip is your wrench to undo the pivot. And to get the pocket clip off, you squeeze in the backspacer a little bit, and that pin will drop right out. And then once you have that out, the pocket clip will lift off, comes right out of that recess. And it's just the tolerances of that pocket clip fitting into the recess with the pin coming through it to keep it from being able to pivot up out of the recess that holds everything together. It's really, really wild, the tolerances on this piece. I think that this is really kind of the knife that puts CKF on the map for the tolerances that they could hold in a production folder, and really started them on this path to do collabs with really, really high-end makers and do production iterations of amazing custom knives, which, I mean, custom knife factory, that's kind of the thing. It seems obvious now, but you know, this is the knife that really put them on the map with that. Once you got the pivot out, you can lift this out, which allows you to take this little dog bone crossbar here that locks the two handle halves together. Pop that out, and then the whole thing just kind of lifts apart, if I remember right. It's been a while since I took this apart, like I said. Yep. Oh, and it all just falls apart. You got your backspacer there. Set this down for a second. This is your lock bar. And the lock bar just has this little lug here that drops into that slot in the slab and then fits into that recess here. Focus. You can see that cut out in the slab there. Oh my God, the focus is driving me nuts today. Hopefully it wasn't that bad when I wasn't looking at the screen. But yeah, everything just puzzle pieces together. I guess the only actual standard fasteners are these two screws holding that inlay in. I guess I kind of forgot about those. Set that off to the side. Then we've got our blade here, writing on bearings. Really, really tight tolerance between that and the pivot barrel. Just got fingerprints all over that beautifully polished blade. And then you notice we have another, focus, what looks like a lock bar on this side, but it is not a lock bar. This just provides counter pressure. Focus. Oh my God. Provides counter pressure on the blade to counteract the pressure from the lock bar on the other side, helping to keep the blade centered. And that's it's kind of a carryover from the custom piece because you didn't have an adjustable pivot, and so you had to keep the blade centered in a different manner. And so having a secondary leaf on the show side pressing against the blade does that pretty effectively. Emerson actually does that on a lot of his knives. They have a small tab stamped out of the show side liner that is pressing on that side, and is kind of a double D10 setup almost. So yeah, really, really cool that you can just tear this thing completely apart, aside from the inlay screws, and do a full tear down and deep clean on it without actually needing any tools. And then you can just drop the thing back together, get all these pieces back where they're supposed to go. You go back in there. Everybody in their home. You go there. Ooh, hey. Lost a washer. Probably should have practiced a couple times off camera. That's okay. You guys won't tell anybody. Like so. Everybody back where they're supposed to be. That feels about right. Oh. Nope. Forgot the backspacer. Where are we at? Almost 7 minutes. That's okay. Alright. Backspacer. Pull you out. Put a little dog bone in there. Close you down. Pivot back in. A little, just a little snug. You go back there. And we're all back together. Focus. That looks pretty damn close to dead centered. I think the sharpening on the tip's actually slightly off on that. Yeah. Just a really cool toolless takedown concept. I love the puzzle box knives. Nowadays, there's quite a few of them. The Avian knives, Atlas comes to mind. Torpin knives has a toolless takedown one too that's really cool. That one's an integral. I still need to get one of those for the collection. But this was pretty much the first one. I forget what the retail was when these first came out, but they are highly collectible now. I can't get the Spidey flick on it. They are highly collectible now. I think I paid $1,000 for this a few years ago, and that seems to be about what they go for when they show up on the secondary market. I don't know how many of them they made, but they don't come up very often. So if you're looking for one and you see it pop up, you should probably just snag it. So yeah, like I said, been a while since I had this one out. Hope you guys enjoyed this look and a quick teardown of a Snecx Terra, CKF Snecx Terra. And I hope everyone has a good evening. I'm going to wipe these greasy fingerprints off this blade, and I will catch you all tomorrow.